Yo, so I came across this post and I felt like, just through skimming through it, so I have not fully digested the content in this post here. I felt like my guy was talking some talk that I wanted to have a dialogue with you all about. You know, I was like, yo, hold on, put a pin in it. I gotta talk to the homies about this. So this was a post made by an individual named Jaden Tsukiyomi. Hey, word to Naruto, I can dig it. It's titled, Hear Me Out, Progression and by extension Marathon as a game is entirely too unapproachable for the average player because the power floor, as Bungie calls it, it is entirely unbalanced and unrealistic for the purpose it serves. Okay. And by the way, too, I have to preface, this is going to be a beeferson, right? This is a pretty big post. So I may, stop after every few paragraphs, give my 2 cents and, just open up the floor for dialogue. And I'm talking as if we're at a Discord call and we could talk. But anyways, let's jump into this post, all right? Long A title, even longer post. Sorry, but hear me out. My loser credentials are as follows for anybody who gives a crap. Level 200 and something, 380 plus hours, 3 million creds, VIP 20 plus all factions, only cap 6 and 2 factions, will be important later, etc., etc. Really putting that on the table, both so you know my perspective is coming from a place of love and to make it clear that I am not an average player. Jaden made it clear, right? Jaden isn't me. Jaden isn't you. Jaden is probably a sweat lord if at the time of this post, Jaden was over level 200, all right? So he's not an average player and I'm certainly not a casual player, as people seem to have completely forgotten what the word casual means in the year 2026, apparently. That is facts. Streamers, journalists, YouTubers, the average player, the sweats, the mom and dad gamers, all have the wrong idea about what this game's biggest issue is. The game is not too hard, that is a fact, and if it is too hard, that isn't the issue at current. The true ultimate issue is the terrible progression rate. Let me lay it out for you with some preamble. There's no shortage of talk here and in other channels regarding progression, gear disparity, and what it takes to develop a robust vault, encounter difficulty of both the PvE and PvP flavors, and how unachievable Cryo Archive's pinnacle, the compiler, feels from the perspective of the average player's power floor and present gear. Again, so far, Jaden is spitting. I actually just made a video kind of talking about some of these things unintentionally, So again, I'm in agreement right now. Continuing on, Jaden says, the way I see it, the real problem doesn't necessarily lie in skill, game difficulty, or the divide between the haves and the have-nots, nor how difficult it is to obtain higher tier gear. It lies in the fact that this game has ungodly, unrealistic, and borderline sadistic expectations for the player's individual progression. I'm liking what I'm reading so far. Let's just keep going. Most people are chalking the unapproachability and dwindling concurrence up to the game just being too punishing and hardcore to retain people, which that isn't the case. Again, I've mentioned in several videos how this game, yes, you will take L's, but this game does a great job of getting you right back in the mix, The second point, new players and less committed players are damned to either give up or step away from playing the game to its fullest potential because they need to, quote unquote, get good and don't have the capability to do so. Again, I don't really think that's the case. I think this game is really easy to learn what you do right and what you do wrong, and learn from what you do wrong and reinforce what you do right in order to be able to stack some victories in succession, Continuing on. Point 3, as the season progresses, the divide between the person with 5 hours a week to play, if that, and the person who plays 5+ hours daily will only grow, thus alienating those with less time. Yes, and I think he's going to talk about this a little bit more based off of what I skimmed through. While all these factors hold merit, they singularly are not enough to deter middling skill and or low commitment players away from the game on their own, especially when the game feels this great to play. What will drive players away is losing 5 games in a row, opening up their faction screens and seeing that they have made exactly 0 meaningful progress towards increasing their power floor. Nobody likes wasting hours of time to make no progress, especially given the often one-sided nature of PvP in this game, where there is less room for improvement and more suffering from nothing gained. This paragraph right here could have just ended the post. That's kind of a mic drop there. I had a talk about this in one of my prior videos, may have been a few weeks ago, I can't even remember, but I had a talk about this and I was like, man, that is facts, right? And I would say, and to preface, I'm not saying that Marathon needs a safe pocket so you can get some salvage and get out, right? No, not at all, because you have multiple means to get salvage during this carry event. You have the ability to get salvage packs just from racking up accommodations, right? Just from getting faction packs, you can get salvage. So there are multiple ways outside of the raid to get salvage. I did make a point about possibly having a decon upgrade where you can stow white level salvage, or what is it, basic level salvage, into the decon. If you upgrade your decon, you can stack in green, blue, and eventually purple, right? You have larger decon slots, but you can use one decon per raid, so on and so forth, right? So players have to go work for the salvage that they get. So even if they lose in raid, they're like, cool, that's fine, I lost. I'm grateful that I was able to get, you know, that spark leaf out, or I was able to get the reclaimed biostripping out, or whatever the case may be, right? Like that would really, really help. But at this point in time, there's nothing like that. So just like Jaden was saying, you lose 5 raids in a row, you're working through your vault. Yes, you're getting stuff back, but in terms of progression, there is nothing. You may have gotten 20 experience from Cyber Acme. It's like, yay, good job. Like, no, man, we want to light up those nodes and we want to increase that power floor, you know? So yes, I'm with this. All right, let's get back to the post. Jaden continues with, I feel for the next couple of points to make sense, we have to define what is a power floor, as there is a bit of confusion on what that means, but I'll take a shot at defining it. It's a term Bungie sort of threw to the wind in the pre-launch roadmap post that has stuck with me as the most important aspect of progression in this game, and is therefore the lens from which we should analyze the current state of progression. The power floor is best described as the most baseline rudimentary form of gear that a player can fall back on. Over time, this floor will raise to the point where the distance between the floor and the ceiling of a player's power are nearly identical, opening the door to nuances, build crafting, and skill expression when others can match that power floor. Which is to say that it should always be moving up, never down. The vault and your credits ebb and flow. Some weeks you have nothing, the next you feel like a Saudi royal. By base, everyone's power floor is nothing, no shields, a pistol, 2 bullets, and some pocket lint. And depending on upgrades and capstones, the floor could look like near max base stats, purple shields being a button away. Purple shotguns and gold weapon mods as accessible as air. Naturally, it should be difficult to achieve all that. That's the very mountaintop of progression in this game. To be clear, I'm not advocating for the power floor to be able to be maxed out in the week, but there are glaring holes in this floor that need filling in. Yes, again, I am in the utmost agreement with Jaden right here. I was just talking to one of my homies about this. One of my homies, he's pretty casual in Marathon, nothing too crazy. He'll jump in and get some reps with me from time to time. And he's sitting on like 2 rows of blue shields and refuses to touch them because he does not have the ability to purchase blue shields right now, because the blue shields take, I want to say a purple, I want to say like, no, I can't remember what blue shields take right now, but I want to say they take a purple salvage and a blue salvage. Blue salvage is fine. That comes, you know, pretty frequently. Even if something took 12 of a blue rarity salvage, you could find 1 to 2 a raid, you can accumulate to that. That's cool, right? That, again, that's the progression. But when there is a node that takes purple salvage, I would much rather it take 4 to 6 purple salvage of a singular purple salvage, unless it's something super, super rare, right? If it's like a purple item or a purple mod or something, okay, I can understand that. But again, like the purple items are so rare, you can do an entire outpost run. You can go, you know, get the master key room. You can go into command when you could do all that and literally walk out with like 1 or 2 reflex coils, right? Then if you're rocking an item with what materialistic on it and you have the opportunity to duplicate that superior salvage, then you'll walk away with, you know, 3 reflex coils, right? That's cool, but when you look at this certain upgrade node that takes 10 reflex coils and it takes 7, I don't know, insert other superior salvage here, it could just be demoralizing, because it's like, man, am I going to really have successful outpost runs like that in succession? More times than not, you won't, right? Or, is that the expression? More times, gosh, I just jumbled up my brain. You won't have that level of success every single run, right? And I don't think that's expected, but a lot of times, especially for the average player, man, you having the opportunity to like really have a full successful outpost run may happen once. It may happen once a week, you know, if you look at how long you get to play and so on and so forth, it may happen once a week, right? So again, let's pretend that once a week you can have a successful outpost run where you get everything, you get into the command wing, master key room, all that good stuff. Man, if you're playing in a 3-stack, you might be able to unlock one of those nodes by like week 8 of a 12-week season. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just throwing out arbitrary numbers there, but I think you all understand what I'm saying here. Like that climb is really, really tough, but the people that will be able to make that climb are the people that are full-time creators, right? Your iFrostbolts, your Astacrosses, your Defizzles, your Drewskis, right? And even if they aren't a content creator, the people that have the opportunity to play Marathon on average 6 hours a day, they're going to be able to make the climb because guess what? They have more attempts at it. If they, over the course of an entire week, and I'm just making up some numbers here, let's say that the people with more time can play 12 raids a day. So by the end of the week, what, 12 times 7? Hold on, I gotta pull out the calculator here. You know what I'm saying? It's 84, right? 84 raids a week. You know, they have 84 raids a week. Let's say you only get to play 3 raids a day. 3 times 7, I can do that top of mind. You get 21 raids, right? You have a fourth of the attempts that they have. So they have 4x more opportunity than, 4x more opportunity than you have to be able to get the master key room, command wing, etc. Right? Of course, they're going to climb much faster, you know, and rightfully so because of the time they're putting in. But I'm saying it is still there's like a discrepancy. There's still like an inaccessibility for like that average player or that person that doesn't get to play a lot to continue making that climb. They start to hit their head on the ceiling, whereas the player that can allot more time to the game, they have the opportunity to kind of jump over that ceiling. If that makes any sense, I don't know. I'm rambling here though. I want to get back to this post because I want to get through it and I don't want this video to be way too lengthy. You know what I'm saying? So back to the post here. Jaden said, let's put it into perspective. 2 players, you got Joe and you got Jim. Currently as things stand, there is no way to, within any stretch of the imagination, expect for Joe to capstone 6, which is all upgrades, of any singular faction between Cyber Acme in 3 months due to not only the astronomical material costs, but in part due to the strict relation between successful extraction and progress made. Jim, on the other hand, is having a ball killing Joe. Jim has fat pockets and enjoys taking the little Joe has to, okay. Jim has fat pockets and enjoys taking the little that Joe has to his name with his underdeveloped power floor loot. Joe's floor isn't moving, he's stagnating. Joe will quit if he continues to feel like he can't do anything to reverse course. Jim has no life. Jim is capstone 6 across all factions. Jim is fewer in number than Joe. Joe and all his buddies will get burnt out and leave after losing to Jim and his buddies all day long. Jim and his friends are all that's left. Jim and his folk get bored, they leave too. Pretty clear issue with this picture. Don't need to spell it out, I reckon. Yes, that's literally what I was just trying to explain, but I did so poorly and Jaden did so a lot better than I, right? If Joe does not have the opportunity to take a step forward, even if he's getting stomped, because here's the thing, getting stomped is fine. I've had days where I get cooked, right? I'm solo queuing, I'm playing with randoms, free kits, whatever, and man, I'm just getting cooked. I'm okay with it because 1, I love the game, 2, I'm a content creator, so I'm an outlier, right? I'm the exception and not the rule. But if I did not create content and I was somebody that wasn't like in love with this game and this world and everything, I could very well see where it's like, man, where's the return on investment? There is no return on investment, right? And again, I think where, and I even hate drawing a comparison, but I think where Arc Raiders systems lay, you still get an opportunity to have some form of progression, even if you get cooked every single raid, right? Whether if it's the safe pocket, whether if it's scrappy, right? Like you have a couple options, you know, you complete missions, you get the items, you get some items that you need to upgrade scrappy, so on and so forth. There's still this sense of progression, right? And again, Arc Raiders has a totally different set of systems in play. They got hatch keys and, you know, they got, you know, aggression-based matchmaking and all that stuff. So again, it's apples to oranges, but again, their systems allow for progression, even if you do not successfully exfil, for the most part, right? There are some things that you need to successfully exfil for, but I digress there. Getting back to the post here. Jaden said, an overwhelming amount of progression requires extraction. Some quests require in a single run, and most upgrades just require too much dang salvage. Yes, that's what I was just saying. Too much high tier salvage. I don't care if I need to go get 80 freaking unstable diodes, I'll do that, right? Like, I'm fine. Like, if I did one quick perimeter run, I could walk out with 20 to 30 of those things, right? Or if I could trade in the unstable diodes for some green salvage, and then the green salvage for a blue salvage, and then the blue salvage for a purple salvage, or something along the lines of that, if I can barter in some type of capacity, oh, it's a W. Because now, let's say, and I'll just make up some stuff. Let's say I can trade 10 unstable diode for, I don't know, come on, Cray, think, for 5 fractal circuits. And I could trade 5 fractal circuits for, is it complex circuit? I can't remember what the blue variant is, but the blue circuit, right? I could trade 5 fractal circuits for 2 blue circuits, and I could trade 2 of the blue circuits for 1 reflex coil, right? Now we have ourselves a system. To where I can still make progression if I walk out with unstable diode. And you would adjust the numbers, of course. I'm just throwing numbers out there, but like, still, that makes the unstable diode much more worthwhile, right? I can continue to collect it and I can have some type of progression, right? Whereas right now, I've used unstable diode for everything, so now I just use it as a barter piece just to get more shield charges, and then patch kits whenever. No, patch kits don't even. It's just shield charges. Yeah. So I just use them for shield charges and just go on about my day. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, man, come on, Bungie, come on. But let me get back here. So yeah, the homie said the most upgrades just require too much dang salvage, which you obviously gotta extract with. As you level up, the margins of XP need to hit the following level becomes larger, which wouldn't be an issue if contracts actually gave meaningful amounts of XP. Biggest culprit, and funny enough, probably is the most contentious faction in regard to all of this, is Nuclear, the final boss of everything wrong with this game's progression. We'll use them for example's sake. Shields are, without question, and I already know where Jaden's going because your boy just talked about this, man. See, I rock with you, Jaden. Shields are, without question, the most important item in this game. I don't care what anyone says. When the game has a TTK this fast, increasing the game's time it takes for another runner to kill you is crucial to success in those runs where you have everything to gain and everything to lose. Purple shields, not even the highest ranked shield type, are tied to Capstone 6, locked behind a minimum of VIP rank 1, 14 hazard capsules, 37 biolens seeds, which is purple salvage. And by the way, the hazard capsules are gold salvage, and 118 spark leaf, which you gather one at a time, by the way, among a plethora of dozens of other salvage types requiring equally absurd quantities. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how much you try to argue up and down about how the power floor is meant to be gradual over the course of the season. This is ridiculous, and I will highlight ridiculous. Completely unreasonably difficult for anyone but the most hardcore to achieve, and even then, I'm 380 something hours and only Capstone 5 with Nucal. That is simply unacceptable considering these factions wipe every 3 months. You want to talk about burnout? This is the fast track to burnout on steroids. I have a few ideas for what could be changed, but this post is already long enough as it is. Just has to be said that this is entirely unrealistic. I want to hear what you all think could be changed to improve this system for the betterment of this game, because something has to give. This game will live and die on how good it feels to play. The shooting, movement, and design philosophies everywhere else is top of the industry, but the progression is unnecessarily dramatic in what it asks. Joe will ask himself in response, but is it worth it? And he will probably say, hell no. And I'm right there with Joe. And then he gives a TLDR right here. You know, he was like, thank you for all the action, because this post actually got like a lot of love, a lot of upvotes here. You know, they gave him some Reddit diamonds, which I think is a good thing. You know what I'm saying? So like, last thing he said is, one major thing I want to say is that I love this game, but after speaking with casual friends who have found themselves disinterested after having a bad go around in the hamster wheel of doom that is this game's progression system. I felt the need to make my opinion known. I'm not under any illusions that Bungie is ignorant to these glaring issues with progression. There are analysts and developers smarter than I who have most likely already figured out solutions to all these problems. That being said, for this game's survival, these issues need to be pushed to the forefront of talk surrounding Marathon. The conversation needs to evolve, and I hope that is, or excuse me, all I hope is that my post has brought us closer to that evolution. Much love. Yes, I couldn't agree more. Literally with this entire post, Jaden, this post needs to go up in the Hall of Fame because this literally encapsulates everything that I believe is what people mean when they say Marathon is too hard. I like truly. When people say Marathon is hard, I don't think they're necessarily referring to the gunplay or the PvE or anything like that. I think they are referring to the systems that be, because again, apples to oranges, right? But let's throw Arc Raiders in the mix, right? I don't care what nobody says. Arc Raiders is a game that does require skill, right? And then outside of skill, you have the whole third-person peeking system in play, right? So there's an entire another level of quote-unquote skill that is required, right? Skill, patience, etc. You know, you're barrel rolling around cover, you're three peeking this and doing this, and like there's skill involved, right? And there are people that get their chin checked in Arc Raiders. I mean, they look like they never even shot a gun before, right? But the thing is, those players will keep coming back because they have some semblance or some sense of progression. It isn't too difficult for them by the end of an optional wipe to be able to max out all of their workbenches and to have the opportunity to start crafting better weaponry and things like that, right? Where adversely, when you look at Marathon, it's so unnecessarily brutal that literally, and again, I even hate Burn, but if you had 10 raids with Arc Raiders that you lost all 10 raids on, right? You had 10 raids in Marathon that you lost all 10 raids on, right? In Arc Raiders, you are going to still have somewhat of a climb because Scrappy's getting material. You can trade that material to Celeste, and Celeste can give you items. You can use those items to upgrade your workbench or to craft weaponry, right? So there's still this sense of progression. And then with Marathon, you don't get nothing but a pat on the back. And maybe if you leveled up Cyber Acme, because sometimes Cyber Acme just feels so bad, they'll just give you a few XP here and there. They'll just sprinkle some XP on you. You know what I'm saying? They'll do that. You might get a faction pack, you know? But in terms of like power floor progression, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I do believe that's something that has to change for Marathon to continue trying to like find its footing and for it to have an opportunity to thrive in the future. I believe in Marathon. I do. Like when you really play the game feels incredible. Like I was running with my homie who mostly plays Call of Duty, Apex, and he was a Destiny guy back in the day, more so PvP. He was like, man, Marathon's gunplay feels so good. We fought like 3 teams back to back on Dire March. He was like, oh my gosh, Marathon's gunplay feels so good, man. It feels so good. It's just, when I think about trying to level up my fact, like he doesn't even do missions and stuff anymore. He's like, I just want to fight, because when I think about leveling up my faction and stuff, I get mentally exhausted and I don't even want to play no more. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, he plays a bit more, but he still falls within the realm of like that filthy casual gamer that plays and that enjoys, you know, PvP, so on and so forth, right? Like he works a full-time job, etc. You all understand what I'm saying here. So, but yeah, I think, and I'll wrap up with this, a couple quick things that could help with Marathon's progression. Make the decons more worthwhile and make the decons an upgradable system, right? So that you can actually export salvage to your stash, have the opportunity to upgrade it to be able to export or exfil higher level salvage. I'm fine with speccing into that. Make that a node underneath Traxxas or something like that, and I'll spec into that, right? So I think that's one thing. And then something else beyond that is the bartering system, right? I shouldn't have 200 unstable diodes sitting in my vault just because. I should be able to barter those for a higher level salvage, maybe barter that higher level salvage for an even higher level salvage, and maybe the only ones that you cannot barter for are gold salvage, right? I think that's fine. You know, hazard capsules, alien alloy, you can't barter for. You got to get a key, you know, go on a hauler to get the alien alloy, whatever. I'm fine with that. But the purple salvage, like the violin seeds and stuff, I should be able to barter, you know, blue tier salvage or green tier salvage for some of those items in particular. So that way I could use the decon system to get some salvage out when I get back to the main menu, because I'm gonna get my teeth kicked in. I can barter that salvage for potentially a higher level salvage, and I can upgrade that node, and I say, huh, yeah, I got my teeth kicked in, but hey, look, I can now purchase blue shields whenever I want now. You know what I mean? So Bungie, I already know you all got some wheels turning. At least I hope you all do. If anybody from Bungie stumbles upon this video, please take this constructive criticism on the chin and like take it back to the team if y'all haven't thought about this stuff and make something shake. Again, y'all have a beautiful product here, and right now we're fighting tooth and nail to climb uphill, right? So I want to make sure I can support that to the best of my ability, because again, I love the game, love the universe, so on and so forth. But I'm gonna shut up now. My beautiful people, let me know what you all think about this in the comments below. Let me know if you agree, disagree. How would you adjust the progression system? Again, drop it all in the comments. Until next time, I will be signing out. It's your boy Cray. I love you all. Thank you all for coming and watching. And yeah, I'll catch you all in the next one.